Hey, welcome. My name is Will Cook. I'm a resident photographer here at the RPAC Gallery, and today I'm going to teach you a little bit about light painting. So what is light painting? Well, what's interesting about light painting is it's a technique used via the magic of long exposure photography. And as somebody who was always wanted to be a painter, I always was frustrated that I couldn't paint naturally, so I decided to paint with light. So if you take a look up on the wall here, this is one of my light painting photographs of this guitar, and as you can see, some would say this, oh, those are really interesting colors and stuff. Did you Photoshop that? And no, light painting is an in-camera effect, and you can get these effects by having a dark room and using various devices to kind of paint in real time. This particular photograph was a 62-second exposure using some of the tools that I'm going to talk to you about. But first and foremost, what you need if you're going to do long exposure photography is you definitely need one of these, and my phone, right? You need a tripod, okay? And if you're going to use a camera on a tripod, you need a shutter release, okay? And the shutter release allows you to not touch the camera, because if you're doing something long, you don't want to touch the camera because you have camera shake, stuff like that. This shutter release cable has a lock position on it, and what I do is I put the camera on a bulb setting. And that allows me to then just keep it locked open, and it allows me to paint and do what I need to do for as long as I do. So, so long exposure photography, you know, anytime you need a tripod, basically anything, you know, a few seconds or longer, you're going to need that. So without further ado, I'm just going to go over a couple of my tools here, and for this particular photograph, I use these light painting brushes. And these are fiber optic brushes, and the company's called lightpaintingbrushes.com. And what they do is they sell all kinds of cool little tools. And these light painting brushes come in different colors, and they're really neat. They're really soft. And you can see there's this attachment here. This is called a universal attachment. And what you do is you take a flashlight and you put it inside of this universal attachment. And then if I turn it on, you can see the bristles. And what that allows me to do is to use this as if it were a paintbrush. Does that make sense? So in this particular case, I used the beam, a red beam and a white beam of a flashlight that was inserted into this universal connector attached to this fiber optic brush. Okay, so basically, because the room is pitch black with no other light sources, the camera is only going to record the light source that you have at that moment, and that is the light painting brush. So, so basically, the only way this guitar gets illuminated is by the brush itself. And so what I'll do is I'll just play with the brush a few times with an open shutter, and what I'll do is I'll see how's it going. And with this, I did on guitar effect, and I also used the brush on the outside of the guitar, and you can get different effects based on what you do with the bristles. Now, as you can see, I went wide with the white bristles here, and kind of a flowy, outstretched, splayed effect, which allowed for the white to show up. But if you notice, there's a clue here. Underneath this white, you can see the red, and I started with the red and then overlaid with the white. So that's really cool, and it's a real specific effect used by the brushes. Now, if I wanted something a little bit different than that, for example, I have what's called EL wire. And EL wire is an effect that creates more of an ethereal smoke kind of effect. And as you can see, if I turn it on, you might be able to see it faintly. It's probably hard to see in this light. But what happens is it lights up, and then you move it a certain way. And you keep it moving, and if you keep it moving, it'll show up as a smoky effect. If you have it stationary, you'll actually start to see the line itself. So a lot of times with light painting is you need to keep things in motion, otherwise the camera will capture them. So if you're using a glow stick and you stop moving, the camera's going to catch the glow stick in its entirety. So light painting is movement through time. And some of the key elements to light painting is, one is not getting in the way of the camera. Sometimes people will turn their bodies. Knowing when to turn on and off the flashlights. For example, if you're painting and then you leave the scene, you might show a streak here that you don't want to know. So you need to know when to turn on and off your light source, your strobe or your your flashlight. So light painting brushes has a wide array of different light tools. Some things are called light painting swords. This EL wire here you can get on Amazon.com, and the EL wire you'll get a kit with 5 or 6 different colors that you can use. There's all different kinds of techniques. You can use flame, anything that's lit can be used as a light painting tool, even a lighter. If you wanted to show an aura around a human being, you could use a lighter. You could use a glow stick to show some kind of ethereal effect, like an aura around a demon or something. Anything that you want to be able to do. Okay, so in this photograph, you'll see that I also use the light painting brushes based on the little filaments of white that you see. But I also used another light painting tool called some call it a lightsaber, but it's actually a light painting sword. And if you look here, you can see these gradients of blue in the background of the photograph. And I had this, the flashlight again was connected to the universal connector attached to this device. And then what I did is I moved it behind the glasses to create that kind of veil kind of configuration or effect.